Let me just make sure that they can both hear us. Unmute, please. Can you both hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Soria, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand the charges, sir?
Yep.
And in this matter, I'll advise you have a right to an attorney. The court will appoint an attorney to represent you. Should you desire an attorney, it's my understanding you wish to proceed without an attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you doing so freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you, coerced you, used any undue influence, pressure, or promises to get you to appear without an attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Ms. Brown and I'll have the other two of you as well, Mr. Soria and ma'am, I'll have you all raise your right hand, be sworn in, because we may take testimony from all of you.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Brown, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Docket 2022-2551 UN, Roach versus Soria. Both parties are here today. The payer is Nathan Soria. Michigan registered an order that originated in Florida. We registered that order October 24th of 2022. The Florida order entered in January 31st of 2018. The monthly obligation is $307.88 for current support, $61.58 for arrears, for a total monthly obligation in the with the addition of fees, $372.96. Mr. Soria has not paid on this case since it was registered in Michigan back in October. This is the first show cause hearing. He's never had a bench warrant or a contempt finding. This matter was adjourned before Your Honor by referee Delmont back in January of 2023. Mr. Soria's shortfall as of today is $372.96. Total arrears on this docket are $20,821.24.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Soria, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Brown?
I don't disagree with them.
Okay. Do you have any questions for Ms. Brown?
No, I do not.
Okay. What would you like to tell me, sir?
Well, I haven't paid child support. I haven't had a job. I have a 3-month-old daughter at home. My son lives at home. Well, my son Ethan, that's from Amber. My daughter also lives here in the state of Michigan. For the last several years, she's had CPS in her life, troubles with the kids. They have been in and out of her custody, in and out of shelters and behavioral centers. I mean, they have lived here. If Savannah's been here before, I mean, it just, anytime I've asked to see the kids, it was always no from her husband. Up until recently, my son has been living here since last July. My daughter has been here for several months as well. So as of right now, she only has 2 of my children, and one of them half the time is not in her custody. I mean, there's just several reasons why I've not paid child support. And the biggest reason is I don't have a job, and I have my 3-month-old daughter and Ethan at home with me.
Okay. Okay. Well, you basically stated that there were periods of time when the children or the child or whatever had resided with you, but clearly you have about a $21,000 arrearage, so they haven't been with you all of that time. And you say because you don't have a job. Why do you not have a job?
Just have a hard time finding them. And I mean, I have a background that disqualifies me from a lot of jobs, even though I'm qualified for them. So it's just been real hard to find a job.
Okay. And what is the detriment or the problems in your background that don't allow you to get employment?
Just a certain felony, I guess, or the way that they look at it. Some places will hire me and some places won't. It's just a matter of finding them places that will. I've had a few places that have hired me, like Myers Distribution. They hired me in. I did all my paperwork, did my background. They told me to come in for orientation. I'd come in and they told me that they would not hire me because of my background. So I've been through that several times.
Okay, let's say in the last year or so, how many times have you has that happened?
At least 3.
Okay,
The last job I was able to get was at Clemens, which they were taking child support straight out of my check, anywhere from $500 to $700 a week, if not more, for a good year or two. Since then, I've not been able to find a paying job that will hire me.
okay. What happened to the job at Clemens?
I had my 2 sons from the state of Indiana, was going through a custody battle with their mother, and they ended up granting her custody. They took my kids from me in court
Okay,
and gave them back to her. So I ended up moving, and it was just too far for me to continue that job.
okay. And why did you move?
Because I was there because that's where my kids were.
Okay, so they had previously been with you in Michigan, but then did you move to Indiana? Is that it?
No, we had originally lived in Indiana, and my kids had moved to Michigan with my mother. And then at that point in time, I ended up moving from Indiana to Michigan with my mother. And then they took my kids Christmas, and I ended up moving from Battle Creek after the day they took my kids. I left.
Okay. Well, so far you haven't explained, you said you were with Clements, but they left that employment because you had to move, but it sounds like you're living in Michigan, so you could work at Clements if you're living here.
I could not. It is a 2-hour drive one way.
Okay, well, why don't you move closer to Clements then where you can maintain that employment?
Because I have no family and nobody out there. And they were taking anywhere from $500 to $700 a week out of my check, if not more. It's not enough to live on. By the time I got $1,000 check, I had $200 a week to live on. That's not even enough to hardly feed yourself a month, let alone pay utilities or rent a room somewhere.
Okay. Well, how do you think that the payee, how's she gonna raise the kids if she doesn't have any money coming in, if you can't make it on $200 to $300 per week, and she's got nothing coming in from you, how is she gonna make it?
She has 2 people living in that household that work every day.
Okay.
She has assistants, she has daycare assistants. I mean, she has what she needs and the resources she needs.
Okay.
I don't have anybody but me.
Something?
Okay, hold on, ma'am. You'll get a chance.
Thank you.
Okay. Sir, what is your education background?
11th grade.
And have you sought out or looked at a GED or not?
I have not. I did a while back. It's been several years, but I never received it.
Okay. You stated in the last year that you've had about 3 places that have turned you down once they've done a background check. Let's say in the last 6 months, what have you done to acquire employment?
I mean, I've done a little bit of side work here and there, or have got out, actually went around looking for work. I've been out and filled out applications. And when it comes to the background on the paperwork, I put my background. So I don't have any mishaps or any issues, and they disqualify me from that. Or when I've been to the places and I've asked them, because I ask them before I waste their time or my time, if they accept felonies or felons, they say yes. I get in there, do all of it. And when they get the background, they do not hire me.
Okay. And where are you residing currently? What town?
Monroe, Michigan.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
How do I go about filing for child support?
Well, you have to file a motion, and you can get that from the circuit court clerk's office. And, or you can get a packet from the friend of the court, which it calls an improper motion. You file the motion, setting forth what you want and the basis for what you want, and then that matter would come up before the court and would be addressed at that particular time.
Okay, do I contact your court for that, or do I contact the court here in Monroe?
No, you contact our court because we're the ones that have the file.
Alrighty.
Okay, Miss Roach, anything that you would like to say?
I do want to state that the reason that we're here for Ryder Soria, he's a 10-year-old autistic child who was in a home for several months due to his mental capacity. It's not because of CPS. And I have had to take off a lot of time for work, whether me and my husband are both working is irrelevant, because that is still mine and Nathan's child. As far as our other 3 children, he still owes over $30,000 just on that case, not even for Ryder. So him working on and off and working under the table, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't expect anything from him because it's not going to happen.
I know what
But for him to sit here and throw me under the bus about CPS, obviously I still have my children. You have one of them. Your mother has the other.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Sawyer, do you have any questions of Ms. Roach?
I don't have any questions, but I've got a few statements.
Okay, well, hold on. Just asking for questions.
I
Okay.
don't have any questions.
Okay. Anything, Ms. Roach, anything else you would like to say in this matter?
Yeah, I've never lost custody of my children either. I've always had custody. Full custody, by the way.
Okay. Mr. Soria, what would you like to say?
Well, I owe child support in the other matter. She filed child support when we first had the kid, even though she was living in my father's house with me the full time. Then from there, she lived in my mother's home along with me from time to time while she was receiving child support. And then on top of she's never lost her kids. She's correct. She's never lost them, even though CPS and the cops and all the recordings and the beatings and everything. She's not lost them to CPS, but she has got them taken away from her custody to be put in a center. Third of all, she's talking about my son.
That
my
is
son
incorrect,
Ryder
and you're
being
lying.
autistic.
Ms. Roach, I gave you opportunity to speak. Don't interrupt. He has his opportunity.
As for my son being autistic, that is hearsay, and that is her putting him through them forcing him through that. My son Ethan, all of them have had problems. My daughter, my son, all 4 of them. My son came here on 6 different medications, having multiple run-ins with the cops, being taken away, having issues in school. I've had my son since July. He got off his medications when he got here because they were making him sick, blue in the face, passing out, nodding off. He has been off them. Your Honor, I've not had a single problem with him. I mean, he's a teenage boy. We have our little issues around the house of him and his chores. But when it comes to behavior in school and the cops, I have not had one single issue with him since July, and he's not on no medication. So him coming from there with all them problems to here with 0 problems, it is evidently in that household.
Okay. Anything else?
That goes the same for my daughter. She has committed suicide. stated that she has been touched inappropriately, just multiple things. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes.
some of the court would like the court to be aware that this case before Your Honor in this Florida order only deals with minor child rider.
Okay. Okay, so we have other kids, but the only one is the one child. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, well, the court will make the following finding. In this case, the court has heard the testimony of both of the parties in this case. Obviously, there is a substantial arrearage in this matter of approximately $21,000. The respondent in this matter, Mr. Soria, stated that he has no job, that it's hard finding a job because he has a felony on his record. That, in fact, he has, however, previously worked at Clements Food Group, where apparently he'd worked there for a number of years because he'd referenced that they were taking out through income withholding for a year or so. And then he moved, and as a result of the move, he lost that employment. He has worked some side jobs. He mentioned, he didn't state how much he was making the side jobs, but he did have some income in this particular matter. He has made some attempts at employment, states in the last year that he had 3 jobs that he was qualified for, but when they did the background check that he lost those jobs. Stated he's been putting in applications. He does have a 11th grade education. He has not pursued a GED at any time in his life, although he said he looked into it at one point. Obviously, there are multiple other issues between the parties, but again, as referenced by the front of the court, we're dealing with one child in this particular matter. Obviously, to incur an arrearage of this substantial amount, the payer, Mr. Soria, has not paid in a substantial period of time, and court does note that based upon his own testimony, he's well aware of the support obligation that he has in this matter, that he has failed or refused to pay that particular amount. And notwithstanding that he has the ability to acquire employment and has not done so, the court will therefore find him in contempt of court. Mr. Soria, is there anything you'd like to say before sentencing in this matter?
I mean, I've pursued my GED. I've actually went for it and didn't get it. I mean, like I said, I haven't been able to get a job, been in and out of jail. All the times I were in jail, they never stopped my child support. So being in a jail for a year at a time, 7 months at a time, my child support was never stopped. So, I mean, that put me in the hole as well. Any side job that I've done didn't accumulate to much. I mean, maybe 50, 60 bucks, a little bit of yard work, mowing grass. I mean, and that's food money. I mean, it was money to give somebody gas to get me around to find a job or to look for a job. I mean, it's not, like I said, I have other kids that I've had. So anything that I had made went to trying to support them the best that I can. And at this moment, I have a 3-month-old baby. I have my 13-year-old son. I mean, it's just hard with my background. I mean, I have 2 to 3 felonies that stop me from getting a good job. I just have numerous things that hold me back, and it's real hard to find a job. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Well, what the court's going to do, the court could sentence you up to 45 days in jail. I'm not going to do that. What the court is going to do, however, the court does believe that some jail time is appropriate. The court is going to sentence you to 21 days in jail with credit for no time served. The court would order that you report to the Calhoun County jail on March 31, 2023, no later than 4:00 p.m. to serve your sentence. The court would allow you to purge yourself of contempt by paying the sum of $1,000. So if you pay that, you're not going to have to go to jail. So that will be the sentence of the court, and we will conclude this matter at 10:34 a.m. You're free to go. Have a good day.